Thank you to you both. I really appreciate you, Claude and Kareem, for hopping on the call with me today to talk a little bit about being Black in the beverage space. Tell me a little bit about your brand and, what inspired you to get into the business.
So Claude and I own a company called Naturade. We bought the company with the mission and vision around reversing pre-diabetes and diet-related illnesses in underserved communities. Really, we need Black communities. Both Claude and I come from large families, and the majority of the older generations usually succumb to some disease that's related to diabetes or some other diet-related illness. And so, Claude and I felt like we needed to do something about that.
I appreciate that. No, that's really real, man. And that resonates with me on so many levels. I personally subscribed to a plant-based diet for like maybe 4 or 5 years. And I saw tremendous health benefits. I didn't do it because I had any health concerns. I was doing it to be preventative. Because to your point, I have people in my family that have been, that had diabetes, right? And had body parts amputated and were bedridden and were gone far too soon. And, fortunate for me, I got the access to the information, right? And, no fault to them because they didn't have access to the information. Is now a matter of what do we do with it. So I'm glad that your business exists to educate people around making healthier decisions and providing them with the actual products to do so. It resonates with me on another level because our business, Black and Bold, our goal is to pour into the youth across many different disciplines. And we do that by supporting nonprofit organizations. Where we have over-indexed has been on teaching people about food, whether it be about urban farming and clean eating and supporting organizations that are placed in food deserts, or partnering with organizations that are looking to eradicate food insecurities. Right? We understand that, and we're doing our part to promote these healthier lifestyles. So I'm glad to know that you're on that path as well.
Absolutely. Naturade has been around since 1926. So it actually is the pioneer of plant-based shakes in this country. A lot of people don't know that. It was like the original Whole Foods. So they had stores all over the country. They went through a variety of iterations and ownership, and they had some bad owners towards the end. Claude and I were able to slip in and kind of, buy it undervalued. So we bought the company, and then we were able to direct it towards where we wanted it to go.
I am a lifelong learner, so I'm really looking forward to learning a little bit more again about your whole process. And one thing that I want you all to touch on is how you acquired the business, because to my understanding, you all aren't the founders of the business. You all purchased the business here within the last decade or so. So we are hoping to share this with our ecosystem. And I know a lot of questions that we get often is like, hey, how did you all start your business? And, we have a very unique story, but I think it's important to shine light on other means of entrepreneurship. So talk to me a little bit about that process. What compelled you or attracted you to your business, and what were some of the hurdles that you all were able to overcome in acquiring your business?
Well, I'll say that it actually starts from before acquiring the business. We founded a company called Healthy Body Products, and around the same similar mission. We moved out. We both live in LA, but we're both from the East Coast. I'm from New York. Bronx, New York, stand up. Claude's from the DC area. And we moved out to LA and wanted to start a company. We looked around and we saw these overweight kids, and we were like, yo, that's not what you think about LA being from the East Coast. So we were like, well, what if we did something about it? Like, we read about it after we saw it. We saw there was a 40% child obesity rate. We were like, what if we did something about this child obesity? What if we put healthy vending machines in the schools? And literally within a couple of weeks of being out in LA, wrote a business plan, raised some money.
So you end up raising some capital, looking for a company to buy. You got to do the due diligence on it. Like anything else you were acquiring, you acquire it. I mean, when you find it to acquire, you get it under a letter of intent, and you go back to your investors who are hopefully high net worth, and then they can invest in the deal. And so I know nowadays it's all about startup. The young folks now see Silicon Valley, and they're racing for that, which is exciting for me to see as an entrepreneur. But that's another way to entrepreneurship, search funds.
And so at that point, what happened was we started getting on sort of a national radar for having done this. We did this all in less than 2 years. That we got invited by President Clinton and Governor Huckabee to come out to Arkansas, talk about what we were doing in LA. They have a non-profit called the Alliance for a Healthier Generation, which is all about combating child obesity. And so they wanted to figure out how to replicate what we did nationally. So, but how it is your question is, we ended up, people started to hear who we were, and what I failed to mention earlier, that both Claude and I went to Duke University for undergrad, for college. I went back to my MBA, and Claude went to Wharton, he got his MBA there. And so, we got invited to meet some very important people at, Duke University alums. And we took the opportunity to say, look, man, we always wanted to just have a company that could really have like a national or even a global impact. Why don't we raise some money from all these wealthy guys? What's used to being in the room with these billionaires? We're not asking for money. If you're not asking for money, all you're doing is having a conversation. And so we ended up raising some money from you guys, and we ended up being able to buy the company with the capital that we raised.
Yeah, man, that's good to know. And I really appreciate you sharing that, because, there are more than one way to skin a cat, right? You don't necessarily have to just have one monolithic approach to building equity, right? You could do it through acquisition. You can do it through the founder journey. There's a lot of, again, different ways that we can slice this. And I'm, again, wanted to highlight your story because that could be an avenue that people look to pursue. There's a business out there that already is established, and, there may be an opportunity for an acquisition play and to get you in the door much sooner than if you were to start it on your own. You all got the best of both worlds, though, because you all built the business, kind of understood the landscape, understood the industry, and then were able to fortunately acquire a business in your industry so that you can continue your mission and redirect your focus into areas that are more resonant with you all.